Joining me today is the very talented and very beautiful indie folk singer from Toronto, Nicole Songbird Coward. Nicole, good morning and welcome to Q108 Kingston.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Now, I guess you get this asked a million times, but I'm going to ask anyway. Can you tell us a bit about your background? What inspired you to become a musician?
Oh, definitely my parents. Actually, I had a show yesterday. My dad came, and he's so proud. When he comes to see me, so proud. But I grew up watching him perform and playing guitar and singing. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. My mom also played guitar as well. So definitely that was the early inspiration for me.
What kind of music did you start or get into?
Well, folk music. Growing up, I was listening to Peter, Paul and Mary and Kingston Trio and Gordon Lightfoot and all those greats. That was my children's music. Those were my lullabies. So I think it's gotten in my blood. So I always have a big love for folk music. But I also have a classical background as well, and I also have a love of classical music. So.
Okay, so living in a big city like Toronto, was it difficult for you to get any gigs with so many bands and artists vying out there?
No, there's a lot of venues, and there's definitely a lot of musicians here as well. So it's not difficult to get gigs. It's difficult to get good gigs. It's like being a little fish in a big sea. So lately I haven't played much in Toronto. I'm very selective with where I play. But I try to get out of the city as much as possible. I love going to small towns and meeting new people and just get a great reception there. So, yeah.
Do you have a favorite venue that you like to play at?
Oh, Humble Beginnings. Because I book there and I run the music there and I work there as well. It's kind of my place. So yeah, I always perform there, once every couple of months, and it's just a great little intimate venue. It kind of reminds people of like the coffee shops of the 60s and 70s where they have had a lot of folk music and people just gathered to enjoy some good live music, and yeah, it's like that.
Well, you've also performed at some big Canadian events such as Canada Blooms Winter Folk and Brock's Big Bite and things like that.
Yes, I have, and Canada Blooms is actually coming up this weekend, I believe, and I'm going to be playing there a lot. I play in their beer and wine lounge, so it's nice. People can sit down and relax for a bit, enjoy some of my music, and it's great exposure because there's just thousands of people passing through there all the time. So.
Oh, I can imagine. What's the biggest crowd you played in front of?
Probably about 1,500 people.
Oh, that's great. So,
yeah, it was a random thing, actually. A bass player that I was playing with, he said, "Hey, come, we're going to go play at a festival." And we went like right there and played, and we didn't even know it. So kind of thrown on stage. It was fun.
So you don't have anything like stage fright or anything like that? I mean, you don't have no problems playing in front of people?
I used to be very, very shy growing up. That's why I just started playing and singing probably about 6 years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, what got you out of that? What made you get over your shyness?
I love it, and I knew that I could sing because I'd sing really quietly at home, and I'd think, I think I sound good. I'm not sure, but so I kept pushing myself. And still I get nervous a little bit sometimes, usually the day before a show, but once I get to a show, I love it. It's the more you play, the more you get over the stage fright. So I just keep pushing myself more and more and keep going, and it gets easier and easier. But definitely I started off shaking in my boots. I could not perform. There's no way. So it took many years to thicken my skin up, I think.
Oh, that's good. Now, what's the furthest you've traveled as far as,
To perform?
Yes.
We went to Mexico recently.
Okay, good.
I mean, it was part trip, part shows, but to get away from the winter here in Canada. But I did perform a couple shows there, and it was really, really nice. I was nervous about playing enough Spanish songs, so I worked hard on these Spanish songs. And we went there, and there's a big expat Canadian group there, and they wanted Canadian songs. They all said, "Hey, play more Joni Mitchell, play Gordon Lightfoot." So here I was, in this open-air, beautiful restaurant in Mexico by the beach with all these Canadians singing Canadian music. So it was kind of fun.
Ah, that's really great. Well, congrats. Now, do you have a band or partner you perform in trouble with?
I've played with a lot of people on and off, and I guess playing with another band member is like dating. It's really difficult to find the right person, And it's not just about talent. It's not just about good looks. It's something more. It's like a chemistry that has to happen, that you have to get along. And do they add to your music? Do they take away? Mm-hmm. But lately I found a really good guitarist. His name is Nicole Songbird, and he's been playing with me regularly. And yeah, he's my man. He's great. He's just a fantastic acoustic guitarist. And I bring new songs that I've written to him, and he just makes them better with what he adds to it. It's just, he adds beautiful things to it. So, yeah.
Well, I have to love all your songs. I mean, so it's hard for me to pick a favorite anyway. Though, Why Don't You Care gets my attention a little more than the rest. Is there a particular favorite you have, or one that you like to perform the most?
It's hard. They're like all my babies, right? They're all my children. I can't love one more than the other, but I guess I kind of do. In terms of performing myself, I love playing Through My Window, and that's off my latest album, Strong Enough for Love. On the album, we kept it just me and my guitar. We didn't add any other instruments to it, and it's like a simple lullaby. And something when I play it, it just really puts me in the moment. It's like I lose sense of time and space, and it's just kind of being in a bubble and just me and the song. And yeah, that one's really special to me to play. So.
That's good. I'd like to ask you about another song of yours, too, Lost, which is another one of my favorites. You describe it as one of your deepest songs. Why is that?
Yes, interesting you picked that one out. I wrote that song, and I look back at it, and I know that I wrote it. But I can't believe that I wrote it. You know, like, I'm usually not very good with words, but when I wrote the song, it's like it came through me. It feels like it comes from somewhere else, and I'm just a channel to write it down on a piece of paper and present it to people. But I wrote it in a very deep time because I left a job that I had for 8 years. I left a relationship that I had for 12 years. I left a house. I left a car. I left everything at that time, and it was just kind of me and my guitar in a backpack, and I moved back to Toronto, and I felt lost.
That's amazing. I almost could picture, a video of you with the guitar in your bag, maybe walking on the highway and stuff like that, as you were describing that in a song. So, let's work on that, shall we?
Good idea. A music video.
Yeah, you mentioned Gordon Lightfoot before. He's always been one of my favorite folk artists, Canadian or otherwise. Now, recently you get to perform with this longtime bass player, I guess, Rick Dickwitz Haynes and John Stinson. I guess he's the lead singer of the Gordon Lightfoot tribute band. What was that like?
That's correct. That was amazing. That was like a dream come true. And, I remember we were practicing upstairs in the venue before the show, and I thought, this is so amazing. I looked at my friend Harper Normusian, who performed with me in that show, and we were just in awe. It was just so great. And John Stinson sounds a lot like Gordon Lightfoot, so I got to sing with him a duet of If You Could Read My Mind.
Wow.
And Rick Haynes, of course, playing bass with us as well. And Rick was so great. What a great person. And it was so nice of him to do this with me. And a little bit before, we went to hang out at his house and shoot the breeze with him and talk to him a bit. And that was just so priceless for me, because he had all these stories and he had all these, tips for me and inspiration. And it was so wonderful to spend time with him. So
now you also have a show called Midweek Uplifter, Songs That Inspire. Can you tell us something about that?
Yes. So I've been playing live online for quite a while on a website called Street Jelly. That's the word street and the word jelly.com on Monday nights. And it's been going really well. It's great because I get fans from all over the world who can watch, who normally I wouldn't be able to reach. Now I'm going to be doing shows as well on Concert Window every Wednesday nights, and the thing that happens on Monday nights is, people can watch at home. You can put your feet up, you can grab a drink, you could be in your pajamas. It doesn't matter, right? It's just relaxing watching from home, and people say, thank you for your music. It's uplifting me. I had a horrible day at work, but now I feel better. So that's why I'm doing these Wednesday night midweek uplifters. So a lot of my music is, it's powerful messages behind it, and I try to pick uplifting words and lyrics. So
that's good. Now, do you have a big catalog of songs that you've written over the years and stash away, and then you can just, do you write on the go sort of thing, or as soon as you get inspired, you do a song?
Yes, I haven't written very much, because when I write, it has to come from a deep emotion. Like, I have to feel something strongly, and then all of a sudden it comes out in a song. So I'm not someone who writes songs all the time. I don't have that many. But I have some written down that, I've just jotted down on a piece of paper wherever it's close and put it away for a while. And sometimes I find it a couple years later and think, oh, this is not bad. I should make this into a song.
That's good.
So yeah, there's paper scribbled everywhere somewhere. So.
And do you write your own music for it as well? For the
Absolutely.
songs?
That's my favorite part. I guess maybe it's a classical background. I hear melodies very easily, especially using a guitar. It's my favorite instrument to write songs. You just start plucking away at it, and I start to hear melodies come out. But yeah, the words I usually find a little more difficult for me.
Now, where did the nickname Songbird come from?
One day a fan said to me, he said, "Oh, you sing so beautiful. You sound like a bird." I thought, that's interesting because songbirds, they sing not to sound beautiful, as we all know, but they usually sing for a purpose, right? They're singing to communicate to the other birds in their group, or to call a mate, or, to signal danger. And when I sing, I don't really sing just to sound beautiful, though it's nice if people enjoy it, but I like to sing to pass on a good message. So, with a purpose, just like songbirds.
That's very inspiring as well. Good. So, what does 2016 hold in store?
Oh, it's exciting. Got a lot of things booked. We're doing Canada Bloom soon. I'm doing a show at Uncorked in Georgetown coming up. CKOL in Campbellford, the community radio station there, have been so wonderful to me. It's this little radio station. The people are so nice. And I stop by there when I can. They've been playing my music. And they're doing a big fundraiser at the end of this month. Wow. And so I'm going to be playing for that. That's exciting. And then just a lot of touring around Ontario, and we hope to tour across Canada this September and go out to BC because I've never been out there to play. So.
Oh, you'll love it. I mean, I'm an old Western boy, so
nice.
You may not want to come back.
I've heard that as well.
Now, do you do do you produce your own songs, or do you have a record or recording company that you work with?
No, I've always worked with another producer at the recording studio, and I've worked with a few different producers over the years. My first album I did with Steve Sherman, who has his own studio here out in Scarborough. And then the second album, the Strong Enough for Love album, that one I did with Derek Downham, who's actually plays in a popular rock band called The Beauties. And he did a lot of instrumentation on it, which gave it a really nice spin to it. It's a lot of piano, which I don't usually use in my music, but it turned out really beautifully. Lately, I've been working with a producer called Chris Hess. He's fantastic. And we did the song I Love Me, which was my most recent release. And that's a really, really fun song. It ended up having a little bit of a bluegrassy country feel to it. And yeah, he just did a great job. I love Why Don't You Care, the new one. I think that's the first song that I sent you, probably that you heard of mine. The remake of Why Don't You Care, so the second one, was produced by Sean Michael Pattison, who's been a good friend of mine for many years, and he did just an amazing job with recording my voice. And I have a very soft voice, and I like to use little nuances, so it can be tricky for a producer to capture, that sound. But he did a very, very good job on that Why Don't You Care
that's
single. So, yeah.
Beautiful. And when I listen to I Love Me, I can almost, I can hear it in your voice, the happiness, the joy, and just, and how you sing it. It's just like you're having a grand old time with it. And I guess when I hear that song, I can just picture it. It's like you got this kind of like big smile, and it's just everything's coming from inside.
Yeah.
You can feel it on that song. It's great. I tip my hat to you on that one.
Excellent. Great. That's what I was hoping for.
Well, Nicole, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with us. I mean, it was an extreme honor and pleasure to get to know a little more of the lady with that amazing voice and powerful lyrics. And we look forward to more great music from you and wish you all the best in 2016.
Thank you very much, Randy. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.